Sergei Shoigu, the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, yesterday gave an interview or speech or something, I forget what it was, frankly, where he talked about the fact that now, with the advances of the Russian army, there is a land bridge connecting the Russian Federation to Crimea. And he emphasized the fact that now the rail system and the highway system are perfectly functional and perfectly protected from any kind of artillery fire or attack by the Ukrainian armed forces. Now, this actually matters quite a bit because it means that now the Russians can ship men and materiel right up to Kherson without any trouble whatsoever. And as the Battle of the Donbass is winding down, because we all see that it's sunsetting, we see its end, now clearly Russia is going to start turning its attention to the southwestern Ukraine, to the area of Odessa, Transnistria, Nikolaev. And so a lot of people have been speculating. My friend Alex Christoforou over at the Duran has said this, that he thinks that now the Russians are going to launch phase 3. I don't know if it's going to be called phase 3, but this is the next step, the next obvious step. If the first step was making it clear that the Russians were serious about using military force in Ukraine, phase 1, yeah, that worked during March. It was very clear. They threw the dice. If phase 2 was really grinding down the Ukrainian armed forces in the Donbass, well, that objective clearly has been achieved or is in the process of being achieved. Now, so the next step, you want to call it phase 3? Sure. I don't know what the Russians themselves are going to call it, but that's not really important. What's important is that, see, now that they do have this land bridge, Alex is absolutely right. This is the next stage. And it seems to me that up until this point, the Russians have been sort of like neglecting the Kherson front. There was a haphazard Zelensky regime offensive in Kherson that went absolutely nowhere and cost the lives of several hundred very brave Ukrainian soldiers. And the tragedy, once again, was an offensive for no reason that even if it had been successful, would have meant nothing because it wouldn't have given any kind of real strategic advantage to the Zelensky regime. So these bastards threw away the lives of those brave Ukrainian soldiers for nothing. For nothing. Okay, let me calm down and let's just look at this rationally. From the Russian point of view, what they want is Odessa, very badly, because Odessa for the Russians is a very important city for all kinds of historical, cultural, religious reasons. It's a city that they want. And they're going to get it. How they get it is the issue. Now, the Ukrainians have acquired anti-ship missiles from the West, Harpoon missiles, I believe, that they have in Odessa. They've mined Odessa and that area. Basically, they are all prepared for a big amphibious assault that the Russians are going to go whole hog in like some sort of big frontal battle. But looking at the map, and I'm sorry, I can't post a map here. You're just going to have to look it up for yourself. But looking at a map from Kherson, it's very obvious that what they want to do, the Russians want to do, is go up to Nikolaev and take Nikolaev, and perhaps Zaporozhye while they're at it, right? But then what they really want to do is swing west to the north of Odessa and link up with the peacekeeping troops that the Russians have in Transnistria. Transnistria, as you know, is that very small sliver of land where the Russians have, I think, a couple of thousand troops there that are acting as peacekeepers. They've had them there for years now. And there is a very large weapons depot, ammunitions depot, actually, I think. But I don't think that that's really strategically that important. What's important is that, see, Transnistria is on the eastern side of the river there, and the name of the river slips my mind, but Transnistria is this like little sliver, and it's like the perfect stopping point. And so what seems reasonable is that the Russians would implement their deep battle plan and go in hard on Nikolaev and go around it and keep on going until they link up with Transnistria. And that way, looking at it from your point of view, I mean, here's eastern Ukraine, here's southern Ukraine, and here's Crimea. Here's southern Ukraine, And over here, roughly, is Odessa, and here is Transnistria. Well, the Russians would want to go around Odessa up until Transnistria and enclose Odessa, and then just wait them out. See, if they go for a frontal assault on Odessa, either from the north or from the sea, a whole bunch of people are going to die. Russians and Ukrainians. And the city of Odessa, it's going to suffer horribly. Why would you want that? Time is on your side. The Russians now have a clear supply line from Russia over here through southern Ukraine all the way to Kherson. They don't need to attack Odessa, to conquer it, to assault it. They don't need to. They can just wait. And it makes the most sense, especially if you have time on your side and you know for a fact that your enemy can never be reinforced. Because, of course, if the Russians cut off Odessa from the north, and in the south, well, the Ukrainian naval forces have ceased to exist, and it's just basically now a Russian lake, the Black Sea, that is, then you don't have any worries. You don't have to assault Odessa. You could just wait them out for a few weeks, perhaps a few months even. I mean, what's better? To wait out Odessa and just have them completely cut off until they finally surrender without people dying needlessly, or out of impatience, go in there strong, and you're going to have to go real strong, and, street by street fighting, pointless deaths on both sides, not to mention the civilians there and all the rest of it. Why would you bother doing that? It's much, much smarter to cut them off and just wait them out. I think that would be the sensible approach. And the Russians, they have a lot of flaws, but they're not stupid. They're not stupid at all, and they're patient. And time is on their side. And the time for the Zelensky regime, well, that ran out quite some time ago, It's over for the Zelensky regime. So I think that the sensible thing for the Russians, and I think the thing that they are going to do, is they are going to hit Mykolaiv hard, and just hard as they possibly can to just overrun it, and then keep on marching all the way Transnistria. And once they hit Transnistria, sit tight, organize the swath of land north of Odessa that they have captured, expand on it, push forward farther north. I mean, if this is eastern Ukraine, southern Ukraine, Crimea, Odessa, they have this swath over Odessa. What they want to do is reinforce this swath and move a little bit north. Yeah, that's the smart move. And the Russians, like I said, they're not stupid. And their priority, ultimately, is to not destroy Ukraine, or at least the pieces of it that they're going to take, because they are going to take it. Their priority is to capture these pieces as intact as possible. And that includes Odessa. And so that's why I do not think that there is going to be an assault on Odessa.